Guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 97th episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it had, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. If you've seen some of my older videos, you may be aware of my longtime search for UGK's third album, as I feel like I would mention it pretty much any time I discussed a Southern LP. If you somehow aren't familiar with this top-tier duo, it was comprised of rapper Bun B and the late legend Pimp C, who was extremely proficient as both an MC and a producer. Together, they would form Underground Kings, better known as UGK, and they were actually one of the earlier Southern rap acts to find true success, at least on an international scale, breaking onto the scene with their 1992 debut Too Hard to Swallow. Despite this impressive LP being one of the best aging albums from that year in my opinion, and despite their 1994 follow-up Super Tight being just as dope, for me it's hard to argue against 1996's Ridin' Dirty as their magnum opus. Hip-hop has more than its fair share of chemistry-filled duos, from Method Man and Redman or Outkast, to Mobb Deep or EPMD. But even with the best of the best, in my opinion, no two MCs have better chemistry than Bun B and Pimp C. At best, you can make an argument that certain duos are maybe at the same level, but to me, nobody surpasses them, as there's nothing about either rapper's style or voice that I'd change. Pimp C was an insanely talented producer who made innovative and forward-thinking beats that helped push the sound acts like Ghetto Boys or DJ Spanish Fly pioneered. His sample choices are always amazing, and he had a knack for taking uplifting, classic soul or R&B tracks and flipping them into something gritty and dirty. The chops and cuts on albums like Ridin' Dirty would help solidify this staple of Southern hip-hop that is largely thanks to the late DJ Screw. While Pimp C wasn't a particularly dense or coded writer, he was still a pretty proficient lyricist and knew how to use his enigmatic voice to his benefit. It's instantly recognizable and it's perfectly suited for the variety of topics he'd indulge in, from making money pimping and driving exotic expensive cars to sidestepping the pitfalls of fame and dealing with the expectations others put on you. Another reason Pimp C doesn't need to be the most technical rapper in the game is his partner Bun B was one of the most gifted MCs to come out of the South in 90s hip-hop. His deeper register complemented Pimp C's vocal style just as much as it contrasted it, and while Pimp's verses were packed with personality and slick lines about dealing or any number of crimes, Bun B had introspective and thought-provoking bars that were delivered through one of the tightest and smoothest flows in hip-hop period. If you need proof of that, just listen to how he starts his legendary verse on Murder, which many people have discussed and broken down before because it still blows minds to this day. Pimp C has a pretty killer verse to start the track off, and then Bun takes the stage with, "Well, it's Bun B, bitch, and I'm the king of moving chickens, not them finger lickins, sticking bitches that be tricking you need a swift kickin'. Yo ass is ripe for the pickin', now as my pockets thicken, I'm deep thinking, nickel slinking, you sick when I be clickin'. Now take a look at the bigger picture, malt liquor swigger, player hater ditch digger, figure my hair trigger. Give a hot one in your liver, you shiver, shake, and quiver. I'm frivolous if a bitch get wetter than a river." While they may not have reached the level of universal fame a group like Outkast did, they and many other legendary Southern acts would tell you that they couldn't be there without UGK. In fact, it's not just would tell you, they have told us, with the duo being praised by the likes of Three Stacks and Big Boy, T.I., Goody Mob, Juvenile, and Killer Mike, who, by the way, totally deserved that Grammy win, and if you think that Travis should have won, get off this page. But that's just a tiny sample size of the people that were impacted by the massive footprint these two left in the culture. This LP was a snapshot of the Southern hip-hop that was bubbling in Texas during the 90s, and it does a masterful job of capturing both the high life as well as the grimy underbelly of Port Arthur that many underprivileged people were trapped within. You get it all here, from songs about pinky rings and people only treating you a certain way because they want to have sexual intercourse with your automobile, to the more anxiety-filled moments about keeping a gun at all times out of fear and paranoia. The fresh, hard-hitting production here is handled by a pretty select crew, including Pimp C himself, N.O. Joe, and Mr. 3-2. Those last two also double as a couple of the guest appearances on here, with the rest of the spots delegated to Smoke D, Ronnie Spencer, C-Note, and Big Smokin' Mitch. For honorable mentions this time around, they probably include Touched, That's Why I Carry, High Life, Good Stuff, and the title track. My three favorite songs would have to be One Day, Diamonds in Wood, and Murder, as you could probably see coming. Thank you for watching my 97th video. Next time, we coincidentally have an artist who released their first three albums concurrently with UGK, and it also happens to be this artist's third album who, just like this one, I consider to be the magnum opus of their career. I didn't even realize this insane coincidence until after putting this order together, so if you really know your hip-hop, you could make a pretty informed guess on who it's going to be. Tune in for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite songs off this southern landmark are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.